buying a home in a strong seller's market. I'm going to give you guys some tips today on how to cut down on the frustration that I see everybody going through trying to buy a home, especially in the seller's market here in the Colorado Springs area. Welcome to Jerome in Real Estate. I'm Jerome, your local realtor here in the Fountain and Colorado Springs area. Today, we're going to talk about buying in a seller's market, and I'm going to give you 10 tips on how to cut down on that frustration. There will be a bonus one at the end, so make sure you stay to the end. Also, just as a quick reminder, go ahead and click the like button and subscribe if you like the information that I keep putting out weekly. So, without further ado, I'm going to get into these 10 tips. Number one, the very first thing that you should be thinking about after you get in contact with a good realtor is to get pre-approved, not just pre-qualified for a loan. I am going to link in the description a good video that I just recently did with a loan officer discussing this exact thing, pre-qualification versus pre-approval, and why pre-approval is much better, especially in a seller's market. So I'm not going to go over, why it's better right now and get into all the details. You can just go ahead, hit the description and go over it all there. But you definitely want to get pre-approved so that you're better prepared to go after that home that you really want to get. All right. So let's go ahead and get into number two. Number two is you need to look for homes that are well under your budget. All right. Since you already know that in the seller's market, the homes are going to get bid up a lot because you're in bidding wars almost in every situation, right? You want to make sure that you're starting off well under your budget so that you have room to bid up and compete against these other offers, right? If you've got a home, if you've got a loan cap of, let's say, $500,000, you don't want to go searching for homes that cost $500,000. You want to bump that down. Typically right now you're seeing offers, bid over the listing price. I mean, as much as 25, 30. Honestly, I saw one the other day that was $86,000 over listing price, right? So you definitely want to build yourself a buffer in there so that you have room to bargain and you have room to bid up and compete with the other offers. Number three, you may be able to borrow money for the down payment from your friends or parents as a one-time gift, right? In this particular case, you may want to give yourself quite a bit of time, get some buffer in there as far as when you're receiving that money. This is something you definitely want to talk to your realtor about and make sure that your loan officer understands where this money is coming from, how long it's been in the account of the person that's given it to you, and when it'll hit your account, all that type of stuff, right? So this is something that you can use to help buffer, not buffer, but you can strengthen your offer by having a larger down payment, right? So if you don't have the cash on hand, you may be able to borrow that or just get it as a gift from a friend or family member, okay? Number four, which is extremely important, you need to find a realtor you trust who is willing to fight for you, right? Who is definitely on your side and has great negotiation skills. This realtor needs to understand the local market. If you've got a realtor that doesn't even understand that it is a seller's market and you need to act fast, you need to go big, then you'll just be drowning. Number five, do not get emotionally attached to one home, all right? This is where you'll end up with buyer's remorse, right? Because if you get emotionally attached and there are competing bids, you're just going to continue, upping your offer over and over and over and over again, and you just don't realize, you know what, it's probably not worth it to me. Okay, the home may end up being worth it to someone, but you got to realize it may not be worth it to you. Right? You've definitely got to keep your emotions in check, and don't get too overly attached to something that you may not be in for that long. And we'll talk about that a little later. Number 6, you might want to think about expanding your geographical search. Okay? Have your agent expand where you're looking. Okay? For instance, if you're just looking in the center of Colorado Springs, maybe you're going to have a tough time if you don't have enough funding for that. So, could you possibly think about all the way down in Pueblo, a little bit south? Maybe you want to think a little bit east, go out to Peyton, Falcon. You could hit Fountain. What about there, right? Think about the different areas that you may be able to look in that are very decent. There's nothing wrong with them, but most people, for some reason, they have it in their heads that, well, we got to be in the center of Colorado Springs, or we got to be North Colorado Springs to make it worth it. Possibly, you could see some homes that, really give you your bang for your buck in the surrounding areas. Okay, so you definitely want to expand your search and make sure that you're getting the right bang for your buck. Number 7, you could do what is known as having an escalation clause, right? This is a tactic that you can use to sort of ensure that, or try to ensure that no one else is going to outbid you, because you'll have an escalation clause to a certain level, so that if another bid comes in that beats you at first, you have an escalation clause that automatically jumps up above the one that just came in, right? And this is something you can definitely talk with your realtor about. If properly worded and properly written, it can be a really useful tool to ensure that you don't get outbid automatically. You can just jump up, and you don't have to go back and rewrite another offer or anything like that. It's just automatic, but it has to be written correctly. Now, number 8, you'll be wanting to put your best offer up front in a really strong seller's market. You do not want to come in weak and then try to slow roll your way up on these bids, because you got to remember, sellers are getting 5, 6, 7 offers at a time. They don't need to counter. So when you come in with your weak offer, you're automatically pushed to the side, right? Because now they've got 4 other offers sitting right in front of them that are better than yours. There's absolutely no reason to counter your offer. Okay. Number 9. This is where you're going to want to show the sellers the money. And what I mean by that is earnest money. All right. I do have a video as well on earnest money. I'll post that in the description. But you're going to want to build some trust with the seller by showing him you're extremely motivated, showing him or her you're extremely motivated to get this house by upping the amount of earnest money that you're putting down. If you are extremely motivated to get the house and you want to, put all your cards on the table and you've got the means to do it, having a large amount of earnest money can help with that, all right, in the seller's eyes. So number 10, it's not all about money, right? Stronger terms may help. And what I mean by terms are things like the inspection terms, right? What are you willing to negotiate as far as the inspection is concerned? Are you gonna go over every single little item that the inspector talks to you about. Maybe you could write it up in your offer as to, which items you're going to be worried about if they come up, right? And that might put a seller at ease just a little bit. Right now in a seller's market, the sellers are doing what? They are selling their properties in order to grab the equity, and a lot of them are grabbing the equity and then rolling it right into another property. Like it could be a bigger home or a home that fits them a little bit better, right? So they're thinking that they don't have a place to live during that little portion of time that they just sold their property, and now they got to look for another one. You could ease some of their fears with the terms of allowing them to stay for a certain period of time in their property after you've already closed. Okay, so that's something those are terms that you could think about. Other terms that come to mind, an appraisal gap, more cash down. So those are things that you do need to think over in your head, and maybe it could be of value to you. Now, I did say that there was going to be a bonus tip. Number 11, the bonus. And this is something I really want to drive into your head. You've got to think about, are you looking for your dream home at this particular time, right? You're in a seller's market and you want to buy a home. I get it. But are you looking for your dream home that you're going to stay in for the next 20 years? Or are you looking for a property that you need for the next 5 to 6 years, right? If you're not looking for your dream home, you may not need to bid up over and over again, right? And this goes back to, tip number 2, which is look for some things well under your budget, things that you can live with. And in this case, things that you can live with for 5 to 6 years. And then hopefully you can sell and roll your equity into something else, okay? It's not always the case that you need to buy something that's perfect. I'm just putting that out there, all right? So that's that bonus one that you need to look for. All right, so I definitely hope you appreciate this particular list that it's just out here for you so that maybe you can cut down on some of the frustration that we're seeing with buyers right now. I know it's a very difficult situation. It's stressful. It's hard to be searching all the time, and then once you find something you like, you get outbid for it. So yes, that does suck, but hopefully you can incorporate some of these tips. And if you need some help, reach out to me, give me a call, give me an email, head online, head to my website and reach out to me. There are other strategies that we could use. Every single individual and family is different, and hopefully we'll be able to put together some strategies that will help you. Other than that, I really appreciate you watching to the end. If you like these tips, if you like what I'm putting out here on this channel, please subscribe. Please give me a like. Comment on some of the things that maybe some of the strategies you like, how you would want to implement them. Go ahead and put a comment in. I'll respond back as soon as I can. Other than that, I really appreciate it. Visit me on jeromeinrealestate.com. Thanks for watching.